welcome. Welcome to the live. I'm not going to be before you long. I am not going to be before you long. How is everybody doing in this North Node flip that just recently happened of the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node is in Leo. And as I said before on the other live, recent lives, we've been here before. We were here in around 2009 when we had the North Node in Aquarius and we had the South Node in Leo. And this is around the time, if you want to look at the political playing field, is when Barack Obama came into presidency. Around this age when it had flipped to the North Node Aquarius and South Node Leo. We were pulling together and doing a lot of things as far as even politically. You saw the people voting, coming together, and it seemed like during that time, if I can recall, you really had to like get with somebody or get with a group or a little group of people to make things happen. You really couldn't do it all on yourself. It was focused on like the collective because of the energy shifts and stuff with the Aquarius age. I know in 2017 it was opposite. It was the Leo North Node and it was the South Node um, Aquarius. So that was more like me, myself, and I, attention on me or whatever. But we are back now at the North Node Aquarius and the South Node Leo. So it's the collective, and this is supposed to be, from what we understand, from the, I guess, the predictions of the Mayans and the world supposed to, when they say the world ending, they talking about a age ending. A lot of times we get caught up into the world ending as far as everything stopping in the world. No, it's civilizations as far as the governmental structures and stuff ending. And when it's a lot of times when it's nothing to fear, because you know every civilization only lasted a certain amount of time as far as the structure of the government, and then it changes. A lot of things we don't have to be in survival mode or be in fear, but a lot of things we can actually overcome by preparing and pulling together with like-minded people. I was just talking to one of my neighbors recently, and I know, somebody was like, "You're talking to that person about those types of things, and they're not even ready for that type." I said, "Well, I was planting a seed to let them see that perception is everything." I was just talking about how it's time to start taking control of things and not waiting, like for instance, they were complaining about something with the neighborhood, and I was like, well, wouldn't it be nice if a few of us could pull together and start doing it ourselves? Even like, I was like, even with the water, like we could actually have where we are purifying our own water. We could have a system where I don't have to have my individual filters and stuff like that. We could all come together, and if your credit is not good, you could start working on it right now, and then in a few months your credit could be up to par where we could pull together and get, you know what I'm saying, funding where we can actually make this a heaven on earth. Like, you don't have to be complaining and wait. Ain't nobody gonna make you comfortable. Ain't nobody gonna come and save you. It's within. That's why I'm launching my stop doing that shit right now. It's launching tomorrow on August the 7th, hitting right in the Lionsgate's portal. Because this is tools that I've been using that really do work. It's nothing that I done went and sat and talked to somebody. I done went to the pastor and got counseling over the years. I done went to the therapist, and I'm not knocking none of that. Done went to the doctor, and when I really sat down and sat still when them ancestors set me down, I had to do the work. I had to go within. That's when I saw, I'm not saying that did not help me. I don't knock religion. I don't knock the doctors. I don't knock, use the tools you have to use so you can get to that place. But honey, my true change came when I did the work and started working on myself from within. And greetings to everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. These are years and of tools that I made it simple for you. It's a healing package, ebook, 5 healing videos, and I'm telling you, it not only worked for me, I seen it work by me transforming myself from within. It has transformed people around. The children started acting right. the people at the store started acting. I mean, I'm not saying that it's perfect. You got negative and positive energies. You have to balance stuff out. We're not in a perfect world, so it's positive, negatives. You have to balance it out. It's an opposite polarity to everything. I'm not saying that every day is perfect for me, but majority of the times, from me doing that alchemy from within and stuff like that, my life has totally changed. I mean, it's so unbelievable until a lot of people that knew me, they don't even know, like they know me, like I'm still that person, but by doing that work, I have integrated all of her, all of me, all the different forms of me, and balanced it out where it's benefiting me. You know what I'm saying? Where I learned to control my emotions and stuff like that. I learned to transmute energy. You can do this. I'm telling you, if you go within and work on yourself, you will be surprised the things you can just do from just knowing yourself and working on yourself and healing yourself. A lot of times we stuck because we have not, did the work. You trying to manifest this and do this and fix this, and you want your kids to act right, and you want that person to love you like you love them, and you want the job on people on the job to act right, and you got all these trials and tricks. Like sometimes it's so much going on until you like, what did I do to this? I've been there. I have been there, honey. I've been there more than one time. And you know what I had to do? I had to go sit down and want about the car, the house, the money in the bank, the education that I was getting or whatever, or the man I was trying to be with, or the perfect kids I was trying to have to make me look good in society. I had to sit down and go within and do the work on myself. I had to do the work. Like I said, getting back to what I was saying about I was telling my neighbor about how we could all come together, and I was planting the seed. I know that person mind might not be there. They might not be on that level right now, but who knows? I don't give up on nobody. I don't. I mean, I be careful about, who I let in my inner circle and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that with this, I'm not trying to sell a damn thing. I'm not trying to sell. I done sold stuff. I done made money before. I'm not saying I'm rich or I have ever been rich, but I know about some money. And it didn't make me happy. When I finished shopping and bought everything up, after a while that stuff worn out and got old. The car, the furniture, the makeup, the hair, the jewelry, all that, the clothes, it get old after a while. And you still empty on the inside. You still missing something. So I'm not trying to, I mean, it'd be nice. I'm not knocking no money, because that's what they currency that they use. I guess they changing it over or whatever. But the real currency is within you. It's within you. When you start working on yourself, you attract a lot of things that you've been fighting hard to get by going on the outside of yourself. When you go within, you can attract. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to attract a tribe, like-minded people that's tired, sick and tired, sick and tired, and sick and tired are really themselves. Like, no, this can't be like, this can't be real. That's what I started saying a long time. I'm like, this shit, I gotta figure out how to hack this shit. Like, ain't no way I'm supposed to be going through all of this. Ain't no way. When I would like to, what it say, and I use the tools as far as the Bible and stuff. I make my little quotes from there, because in my past, not past life, but in this lifetime, I was a Sunday school teacher and stuff like that. And I do teach now. I teach homeschool children. I've taught online. I've been teaching children since I was a child. So that's just natural to me. But what it say? When I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. When we children, we innocent. We come here, they done hacked our memory and flash that thing from the men in black in our eyes when we in that light, and we forget everything. That's a disadvantage. That's a disadvantage as being a baby and can't retain memory, because you don't know, you really don't know what's going on. You got to depend on your parents or whoever your caregiver is, until you get so you can figure this thing out and figure it out for yourself. So we not children anymore. We don't have to be, naive and ignorant and depending on nobody to, help us get to the age where we can take care of ourselves. We can take control of ourselves now. We can take control of every part of us right now. And we don't have to be no victim. We don't have to be no sitting around waiting for something to jump out of the closet and come out like the American Horror Story. No. You want to control. You can't. I'm not saying you are the supreme being. I'm not saying you the great mother, but you can have a certain amount of balance and control by you doing that stuff within. That's alchemy. That's transforming yourself into liquid gold, and you can have a certain amount of control of your life and be able to hack this thing and figure it out, honey. When you go in, your discernment is on point. You be in alignment. You doing the alchemy. You balancing stuff out. You know what I'm saying? It's with the body too. You can't just be meditating and not moving this energy out of your body. And that's what these videos is going to show you how to do it. And it's combining tools that I use that has helped. I'm talking about not just help me. I did this with children. I've done this with children, and it did a lot with them with having acne, and when puberty comes in and stuff like that, and just getting the energy out of your body. And when I don't do this stuff, I feel my body is like, what the heck are you doing? Because it works. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just the healing package and the ebook. This is a whole movement. It works like from head to toe. It's for everything that you need to. And you're going to look good because if you're doing this stuff, you're going to be getting that stale energy out of your body, your spirit, and your soul. So you're going to be connected to nature. It's very simple. It was complicated for me. I did all the hard work. So you won't have to. And like I was saying, I was just planting that seed and telling my neighbor, like, it's all in your perception. You don't have to live like this. Like you don't have to be thinking that you need anything on the outside of you. Everything is within you. Everything is within you, and never settle, and that's what this has helped me to do. It has helped me to know my value. You don't have to be labeled by your past, like, oh, I used to do the devil. What they say, the accuser of the brethren or whatever. That's what they say. They call it the devil. But in the ancient times, the devil or Satan used to just be an adversary. When it got into the religious hands, that's when it became something with horns and all that, and hell and all that. But you don't have to answer the name that somebody call you. Like I was telling somebody recently, I was like, look, I get new on a mug real quick. Like I get new. I always been like that. You know what I'm saying? I probably used to be a mess, but I have compassion now, and I mirror myself through other people. I don't just look at somebody and judge them. I mirror me and them because we all are connected. We all are one. But I'm saying you want to sit there and take me back. I get new on the mug real quick. If the cutoff game can be real swift, because if I done did all I could do, and you want to sit here and try to drag me to hell, I'm not going to hell with you. No, I don't. There's nothing in my contract that I have seen that I signed that say I gotta live in hell with you because you want to live in hell. Nope. I can create my piece of heaven on earth. I don't have to be down in the fire with you. And I'm just saying metaphorically. You got a choice. Like you do. It's not bad being lonely, and being alone is two different things. You know what I'm saying? You should never settle. I don't care if it's a family member or whatever. It don't have to be no lover or no husband or no wife. It can be family that you need to branch off from, and stuff like that. And you don't have to hate nobody, but sometimes you need to get to yourself so you can work on yourself and go within and heal and stuff. So you can stop doing that shit right now. Um, a lot of these habits and stuff like that, and people think when they think about habits, they think about drugs and alcohol and all that kind of sex addictions and corn addictions or whatever. But it's other stuff. Like you can be addicted to toxic relationships that you can't walk away. You feel like you can't walk away from. You can do all things through Big Mama, righteous Father, through the Christ within you, the Cristo Negros. You can do anything from the Christ that strengthens you from within. But you feel like you can't walk away. You feel like you can't be alone. People are addicted to gossiping. People are addicted to pain. It's called what is it called? A sadist and a masochist. You got people that love giving pain, and you got people that love receiving pain. And you be like, Lord, why in the world do you keep going through that, child? You know how them old people used to say, why in the world do you keep going through that? I know you got a grudge against your I remember this old man told me a long time ago. He told me something. We was standing talking. He said, Lord, that woman got a grudge against her kitty cat. I was like, why you say that? He said, cause Lord, she keep dealing with that man. That man is horrible. She got a grudge against her cootie cat. I was like, that's funny. That's so funny. Old people can say some of the honest things. It's so hilarious. Like, I was like, why she gotta have a grudge against her cootie cat? He said, you know what I say, cootie cat? I'm talking about them cookies. He said for her to be dealing with that she got a grudge against her cootie cat. God, that's funny. That's so funny. But yeah, yeah, you don't have to be around. Like you might can't like leave tonight and just go stay in the woods or stay in your car. But eventually, as you work on yourself, the portals will open, the doors will open, where you would be able to transform from within, and then it'll show it down. You'll be able to get out of situations that you never thought. It's been situations in my life, not even just because honestly, if I don't want to be around somebody, I'll leave a mansion, a Bentley, I'll leave the cars and all that, done it, and go. I'm not gonna let nothing like materialism or whatever keep me unhappy. And some people say, I have been told, I had my mother used to say, you a hippie, ain't you? You'll just leave as designer stuff. And I have left places and left designer clothes there. I have walked away from nice places because I didn't need to be there. I left designer snakeskin boots and all kinds of just me. Left, got out of there. I didn't have the I had so much stuff until, it was one point I was like, I don't have enough I don't have enough clothes at that time. So I was performing as far as like my music and, performing and doing shows and stuff like that and different things. And I know I had to do, photo shoots and things. So I was like, I need a lot of clothes. So I went out of town and at that time I went to a designer and got me a lot of clothes. Most of them clothes I left when I moved. I left those clothes and those shoes and all. It's very nice stuff. But my mother was like, "Boy, you a hippie, ain't you?" She's like, "You'll get out of Dodge, won't you? You will leave clothes and that. Hey, people be like, that's great furniture. I know they look. I know they done came off a couple of times. I left some nice stuff, but I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's me. I'll walk away. I'll let some shit go. I will. I'll walk away. I'm surprised being a tourist, a south node tourist, that I can do that. I'm surprised that I can do that, but because I like things, I do. I like material things, and at some points I can get a little. I have been a little attached to it, materialism. But honey, you gotta know how to shed off and let stuff go too. Cause we came into this world without this stuff, and we gonna leave without this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's more to life than materialism and staying in situations. Not saying that you put yourself in harm's way, and I know it takes time, and Rome wasn't built overnight, and all this and that. But I'm just saying, as you transform within and go within and do that work, a lot of times doors will be open and portals will be open as you work on yourself. You can change things around, and even some things change in the middle of the night. So you just got to learn that it's time now. We done sat at the crossroads or whatever. We done tried everything else, and it's not working. And now it's time to go within. I don't have the key. I'm giving you tools that I've used. I'm just giving you the tools that I use. And like I said, I don't want to sell anything. I want to attract the right people. I want to attract the tribe. I want to attract movement. This is things I've been doing. I've helped a lot of people. I've helped people. I've been doing this for a long time. So these are tools I use to help myself and others. And I've seen it work. And I've seen how by you working on yourself, it'll transform your kids. And I mean, they'll be like, Mom or Daddy. They ain't like they ain't like they used to be. They different now. You know what I'm saying? They got more cause it's a lot. It's a lot. You gotta do all this stuff, and they tell us to be independent and do this by yourself, and you gotta be this here by the time you this age and have this type of credit score and have this type of lifestyle. That is complete insanity. You cannot do nothing by yourself. Those people, those higher ups, elite, they all work in groups. They all have, what is it called? They have board meetings about if they're gonna drop a pencil eraser on the ground, honey. All this working by yourself, and then when they kids go to college and stuff, they copying off of people's paper, cause a lot of them not smart. I've been to school with the elite children. I did. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Cause I know we ain't poor, like we middle class, but we ain't got it. We ain't no We ain't them people back then. I'm talking about even the black folks that I was in class with. Some of them black kids, they tell me the boy was trying to holler at me, talking, my daddy is a millionaire. How in the hell do your kid that ain't even 15 years old know you a millionaire? These kids know they pay, and they won't lie. These were mega church pastors' children, bragging about how they feel. I was like, I told my mom, I went back home. I told my mom, I said, look, I don't know what you got going on. And I always been a bit, look, I always been a business lady, but I was a mess. I was a kid, but I was telling her, I was like, listen, I don't know what you got going on, honey. I don't know where your head is at, but you need to leave that job or either go part-time and start a church, because I'm in class with all these damn kids, and they all, I mean, I'm talking about, it was black folk that had the same kind of status. It was Italians, and some of them had the Italians left. I'm like, these people said they parents. I told my mom, I said, they said their parents is already millionaires. So what you need to do is start you a church, because what I see is you going to a church, but you got a drummer, my brother. I'm the minister of music. I can sing and all this and carry the tune. And then you got my dad, my stepdad. My stepdad, look, my stepdad can sing. He done been on the Apollo with them people. What's some of those people names, those big names? Cold, not on about Coltrane. It was one of them guys. My stepdaddy was with all of the big time singers back in the 60s and 70s. He sing better than some people like Luther. I'm talking about my stepdaddy can sing right now. I got stuff up here where me and him singing together. Me and him done recorded in the studio together, and the song that me and my stepdaddy recorded, they wanted that, the producer was like, it was my song, but I used his beat. So he was like, you can't use that. And then he was upset because he wanted me and my stepdad to be on a track, because they were doing the crossover beats then. And he got that, I am thine, O Lord, I have heard thy voice, and he told thy love to me. But I long to rise in the arms of faith and be closer drawn to thee. See, my stepdad be hitting them notes like that, and no women be going crazy in the church back in the day. And he used to sing this, Lord, I'm telling you, when he came down, because they was married. You know how some of these black folks be married, they don't never get no divorce, so they get back together later on after I become a teenager. But that's a long story. So when he came down from New York, which we was going up there, I've been going to New York all my life. We got family in upstate, and we got family in Mount Vernon. I'm talking about all over. I done been all over, visiting during the summers, riding my bicycle through the Bronx. I had me a good time. I've been in New York so much, I think they say I be acting like I'm a northerner, because I'm very to the point. So maybe that rubbed off on me too. And I'm Southern. I'm originally from so I got both flavors of balance and all that. So my stepdad came down, when he first came down, well, I ain't gonna say he first came down, because he been coming down to the South forever. My stepdaddy be telling me stories. I be like, listen, I don't want to hear that. I don't even want to hear that mess. He's like, girl, let me tell you what happened back in 19. I'm like, I don't want to hear this shit. Not today. I'm feeling in a good mood. I don't want to hear them. There ain't don't be no story just about no white folks. It be some messed up stories about some melanated. I be like, look, I'm having a good day today. I don't want to hear them horror stories from the hills have eyes mess. But he came down, when he did come down in what year? It was like when the Temptations, because he one of them people that been around them, but he got drafted to go to Vietnam. But my stepdad, should I tell this? God, this story. My stepdaddy said when he found out that they wanted him to go to Vietnam, he said he started drinking a week ahead. Goddamn. My stepdad said, he said, look, when I got that draft paper, they told me I had to go and do that fitness test. My stepdaddy said, I started drinking 7 days ahead, girl. I said, what? He said, I wasn't about to go over there and crawl through that jungle. That man started drinking, and he said, when he got to that, when he like to drink anyway, but he don't drink as much as he used to, because he's older now, but he will work now. One thing about my stepdad ain't just no like I'm just gonna lay around and drink and not do nothing. My stepdaddy gonna have him something. He gonna have him a nice car. He gonna have him somewhere to stay, and he gonna have him some money. And he gonna find where he can make some. When he was working and stuff before he got retired and old and stuff and couldn't like work like he was, my stepdaddy killed some. He killed some money. My stepdaddy killed some money. I was like, Lord, that man, he kept some money. I ain't even gonna front. And he be like, all that money that I used to get. I was like, look, we not about to get into that. Cause you right. I remember I had to give him some comfort. I'd be like, I remember, yep, you was a good, you really didn't have to do it. I'd be appreciative. Cause a lot of people be like, oh, well, these stepdaddies don't need to be marrying these women with children. And honey, I appreciate mine. A matter of fact, I appreciate mine. If he need to live with me, he can live with me. He just don't want to be too far away from my mama, and I be like, okay, because they don't live together, but he be wanting to be like somewhere. And honestly, he really do be wanting to be son. And I be like, sometimes I be like, I don't know why. You just need to come with me, but he want to be somewhere in the area, and I don't get in between that or whatever, because that's not my fight. But like I said, he kept him some money. He'll have a something, and his family, you know what I'm saying, they wasn't too bad off either, because his dad and his stepmom and them, I think his mom passed and his dad got married. That lady would get that stepmama. That lady was a big time gambler up in New York. She would gamble with some of the elite people, and honey, let me tell you, that lady would gamble and get watches that had, like, when we went up there to clean up, we thought that we was messing with costume jewelry. We thought some of them watches and some of that jewelry was costume, and she had nothing but like nothing but rhinestone dress. I'm talking about up in Mount Vernon, she had like rhinestone dresses, because we had to go clean up when his stepmother passed, because his dad was too old to do it. So we went up there and helped clean up the house, and his dad just gave us everything. He was like, y'all can just have that stuff. I don't want nothing to do with it. Don't you know, it was my cousin, my brother, and me up there with my mom and my stepdad. Honey, we was finding shit, and I was like, oh, this is costume shit. Damn, that jewelry was not. I'm talking about. I done seen bracelets and watches that had all kind. You know how when the Bible talk about he gonna in that Isaiah, how he gonna lay your fountains with he gonna lay the gates with all these different kind of stones. And I grew up around where my grandmother only had like freshwater pearls and stuff like that. Like she didn't do costume. I do costume. My grandmother didn't do costume. She did freshwater pearls. When I wore jewelry, when I was born and stuff, I had like gold in my ear, and I had always as a kid I would have my grandmama, they would buy me like black onyx. I know about the real black onyx rings and the birthstone. I would have my rubies and stuff like that. So I was introduced, as a young child to like real jewels and stuff. And then I wasn't good with it though. I wasn't good with keeping up with my jewelry and stuff. But when we went up there and we cleaned up that house, I thought that was costume. That wasn't no costume jewelry. That wasn't costume. That stuff was real. And how she got it, because she was a big time gambler in New York, and she could win. She knew how to play or whatever she was playing, and they would owe her. And so when they didn't have the money, they would give my step grandmother, or yes, they would give her their jewels and stuff like that. So and then she had all these rhinestone dresses and stuff. And see, my stepdad was upset, because he is he's a businessman. He like me. We be like, man, we trying to have some. So he was like, he wanted my mother to open up a store with all of those. Like, it was so many rhinestone dresses until could have opened up a consignment shop. My dad was like, he got a U-Haul. That's how many rhinestone. That's when the college kids was like really getting back into the rhinestone dressing. I had me a few. I was rocking them mugs. Look, nobody had that stuff I had. I put my stuff together. I was wearing my stuff to school. But he wanted to do a store, and I think my mom was selling it. And if you sell it, you don't know the value. You want to wait on stuff sometimes, and with the rhinestone dresses, because you could open up a store and you could go into nonprofits and all. So my dad was on that business tip, but I don't think she really knew that how valuable they were, and she probably wasn't selling them at a good. He was. I don't blame him. He was like, I wanted her to open up a store, and that's good, cause some men don't be like they don't be on their business like that. They don't want you to have. The one thing about him, he got a good heart, and I ain't saying he perfect. He don't make some mistakes. Ain't no telling what People don't be perfect, but people balance out. And people can change and try to do better. One thing about him, I noticed he ain't got no bad heart. He got a pure. He don't have as much. He didn't have as much money as my biological father had. He didn't have as much money. My biological father had a lot of money. But my biological father, honestly, he was not a good person. I would more comfortable being around my stepdad, and my stepdad was more loving towards me than my dad, really was. And I don't put my dad in the trash can, because my dad did go over to Vietnam and he was crawling through the jungle. So, I have taken care of him more than one time. Ooh, that's a book too. But I'm saying I don't really throw him away, because I know that it's no telling what kind of MK Ultra, now that I'm older. Now, when I was like a little younger and shit, and I didn't understand shit, I'd be like, motherfucker, you deadbeat. I didn't tell him that, but not until he cussed me out one time when he was having one of his Vietnam episodes, and I had to be like, "Look, we not about to do this in this car. I'm not about to be in this car going at it with you, because they go through they post PTDS and all that." And I was taking care of him, and he just want to blink off and think. I guess he thought I was my mama, and my mama, she ain't taking no stuff either. But anyway, I don't throw my daddy in the trash can, but my daddy seemed to be more colder. Like he ain't living like that. But when he needs you, it's my daughter is can get me out of this trouble and this and that. When he needs you, But I noticed with my stepdad, he share, like, he might not have $1 million or whatever, but he'll give you his last. And to me, that matters, because if you got $1 million and you give me 100, that ain't really hurting you. If you got 1 million liquid funds and you give me 100, but if you got $50 and you give me that last $50, that's like you love me or something. Cause that's just how I think. Like, that's all you had. Like, you didn't have a lot, and you still cared about me, and you didn't have to. So that's how I think. Look at stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just look at the heart. I try to look at the character and the heart. But he not no angel. Me and him get into it sometimes, because he get into his how the he get into his little illusions and be like, he'll get to drinking sometimes, and he'll be like, "Oh, you're that baby that your mother had." I'm like, "Nigga, you won't even. I won't nowhere. It won't. I don't know nothing about that. Even if I did, and I'm not that man's child. Some man that he thought my mama was seeing, he think I'm that man, baby." I'm like, this no. No, come back to life. Come. I'm like, I'm not that man's child. He's like, that man that was in New York, and your mother was, and then I think that's your daddy, and then when he passed, he had a whole lot of money, and you should have went and got. I was like, that man ain't my dad. I look just like my dad. Lord, let's get off the spirits for a little while, okay? For we beat up. But anyway, like I say, you got to balance stuff out. It's nothing is all perfect 100. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to chew the meat, but at the end of the day, the whole picture, he a cool dude and everything. So yeah, so getting back to that, we are trying to all heal and things like that. We are all trying to, get ourselves together. We tired of just stuff that don't. I know I was tired of stuff that didn't work. I know I went to the therapist, and the therapist was like, "It's really not even you, it's the people you around." But you got to get strong enough sometimes to be able to leave people alone, because it's hard thinking like, I got to leave this one alone and branch off for this one, and people be like, I got to be by myself. It's not that they don't want to change. They be afraid of the unknown and afraid of change. And that's what this stop doing that shit right now helps you do. It helps you go within. It helps you to find the tools and find the strength within to be the person that you came here to be. So yeah, we launched this tomorrow. I'm attracting my tribe. I'm not trying to sell anything. It's a healing journey. This is a whole movement. and I am making it available to you. And I will post the links and everything on tomorrow. And please support my y'all symbol because we got some big things coming, y'all. I have been doing the work. I know I've been talking about this and talking about that, and see, I'm finally doing something now because it wasn't time, and I was feeling like, oh my God, like when am I gonna put this all together? Like when? And the spirit was like, well, it's not time, but it's time now. This is the time. This is the time. It's not hard. I've done the work. I made it easy for you. These are just tools. It's all within you. This is not the answer. This is a tool to help you get to the answer, which is inside of you. And like I said, a lot of things when you start working on yourself, a lot of things will transform. You will heal a lot of things and break a lot of generational traumas and all kind of things. So please, 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 everyone, my tribe, the people I'm attracting. If this ain't for you, I don't want you to have it. If you ain't feeling it, I don't want you to get it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not selling anything. The spirit said, build it and they will come. This is for certain people that's tired, sick and tired. They want to stop doing that shit. They want to stop doing that shit right now. When they see it, they gonna know like, yeah, this is for me. This is something I need to read. And it's an ebook, simple tools and a healing. The videos are wonderful. They're wonderfully put together. They're very, you know what I'm saying, transformative. The tools is up there. It's very simple tools. You don't gotta go and buy a lot of things. Once you get the book and the healing videos, most of the stuff you doing is what you got yourself, your hands going within, and then the breathing exercises and different things. So like I said, we launch tomorrow. We healing together. I'm attracting my tribe. This is not just a book and videos. This is a whole journey. I'll be back up here. I'll probably be back up here later. But this has been My Sun Goddess 77. Please like, subscribe, and share. And y'all take care. Join me tomorrow as I launch. Stop doing that shit right now. And thank you for coming.